Hello dear students, I've been wanting to record this video for a long time, but I'm always with lots of things on my mind, and well, this video is about time and tense. It's an introduction. You need to understand the ideas I explain, okay? Time is time in real life, and tense is the time we express with language items, with language that is called the verbal system, the verbs, okay? That's the tense, okay? So tense is time in the verbal system, in the verbs that have a subject, that have a form that is united with a person, okay? The personal forms of the verb, okay? The present simple, the past simple, the present continuous, the past continuous, the present perfect, the will future, and then we have other ways of expressing time which are not tenses. For example, verbal phrases, periphrases, verbal phrases. For example, to be going to. To be going to is not tense. It's a verbal phrase, okay? So, but it expresses future time that we want to see happen because it's a plan and an intention that we have, and a very strong thing. So we think it's going to happen, probably, okay? So I say, I am going to speak about tenses today, and I'm going to speak about time today. I have this plan and this intention. Okay, this is very strong. So, to be going to is not a tense. It's a perífrasis verbal, it's una frase verbal, it's a verbal phrase, but we use it to express future time. Okay, so we have the tenses, the present simple, the present continuous, the past simple, the past continuous, the present perfect, the past perfect, the will future, but we have to be careful with the will future, because will is also a modal with many meanings, a zillion meanings. So it's amazing. Will is amazing. It's very difficult to explain. But the tense will as a tense to express something about the future, has a very specific meaning. It's a future we are unsure of. We don't know if it's going to happen, as you study it now. And we use it in conditional sentences, and then will appears in many other cases, but it's not the will future, okay? So then tenses, we end with the will future, and then for the future we also have the to be going to something, a verb, which is not a tense, but it's a verbal phrase that we use a lot to talk about the future, because we talk a lot about plans and intentions, okay? And we also have another meaning for this periphrasis. And then we have the present continuous, the present continuous, that we also use to talk about the future. for arrangements, for things we know that are going to happen for sure because we have written it down on our agenda. We know the time, we know everything, okay? We know it's going, or we have involved somebody else is going to help this happen, okay? So the future in English is not about the future as we in Spanish understand the future. The future in English is about how likely, como de probable, how likely it is, okay? Como de probable es that action to happen, que esa acción ocurra, ¿no? And we use the present continuous. If it is very likely, es muy probable que esa acción ocurra, the present continuous for arrangements. A little less likely, the going to future. The going to future is very likely, but a little bit less likely perhaps than the present continuous, and sometimes as likely as it is. We will talk about that in another video. That's the going to future, okay? The second level of likelihood, el segundo nivel de probabilidad. And the less likely, para indicar el futuro menos probable de todos, we have the will future, right? When you, if you want to identify it correctly, si quieres identificarlo correctamente, think that it's always accompanied with I think, I suppose. Okay? For example, I say, they ask me, Michelle, what are you going to do this afternoon? And I say, I'll read. This is, I think I'll read. I'll do some reading. Well, for básico, I'll read, okay? I'll read. Well, this means that it's not a super fixed plan. I'm not sure. I mean, it's an idea. I think, I suppose that I'll do this, okay? So, the will future is the less likely of the three kinds of ways to express the future, okay? I have begun with the future, he empezado con el futuro, que es lo que nos hemos dado, lo hemos comentado un poquillo en clase. But now I am going to start at the beginning and continue till the end, okay? The first thing I said, lo primero que dije, the first thing I said was that time is not the same as tense. Time es el tiempo, el tiempo que pasa, en la vida, and tense es el tiempo verbal, okay? The second thing I want to say is that time, el tiempo verdadero, is expressed with language in different ways. For instance, we have the tenses. Tenemos los tiempos verbales, por ejemplo, para expresar el tiempo real. But it is typical that we also have other language items that give relevant information about time, que dicen información crucial, ¿no? Para el tiempo. For example, and of course, socio-cultural information, other kinds of information, in the context, right? In the context. Let me give you an example. If I say, I am having dinner. You are in básico and you say, okay, I am having dinner is present continuous. So Michelle now is having dinner. Okay? So I say, I am having dinner. I am having some gazpacho and I am having some whatever. Okay, I'm having dinner. But I can also say, I am having dinner, and refer to the future. I can be referring to the future. How do you know? How do you know? For example, if now, here and now, if I say, I am having dinner, you can see that I am not having dinner. So automatically you know that it's a future. Okay? If we are communicating in writing, if I am writing a letter to you, you cannot see me. So if I write, I am having dinner, you are going to understand it's the present. I am writing and I am having dinner. So if I mean the future, I need to use other language items that make it clear. Okay? So it's very important when you study the tenses that you, in your notebook, when you copy sentences in the different tenses, that you also circle or underline the other language items that typically go with that tense. Okay? For example, for the future, it would be, I am having dinner later with mommy. Later would indicate in a letter that I am not having dinner as I write the letter, but I'm going to have dinner later. See? And it's an arrangement. It means that it's very likely that I have dinner with mommy because I have already called mommy. We have arranged a time, a place, okay? And everything is ready for that event, okay? For example, if I say, I go for walks, I am using the present simple. And the present simple, all the tenses have a meaning. We use the tenses to express a language function, a meaning. For example, if I say, I go for walks, what am I speaking about? Am I speaking about a general truth in my life? Like I am somebody who goes for walks? Or am I speaking about a routine or a habit in my life? I can use the present simple for both. But if I am expressing a habit in my life, a routine, typically the present simple is accompanied by two different kinds of language items. Those language items are frequency adverbs, always, often, usually, hardly ever, never, sometimes, right? And in questions, ever, right? Those are the frequency adverbs. It's like a small group of words, right? And we place them, los colocamos, we place them before the verb, before the main verb, los colocamos delante del verbo principal. And except if the main verb is the verb to be, excepto si el verbo principal es el verbo to be. And then the present simple for habits and routines typically goes also accompanied by little time phrases, sintagmas de tiempo, que en español se dice complementos circunstanciales de tiempo, ¿no? For example, on Mondays, when you hear on Mondays, you know the person is going to speak about her routines, don't you? If you hear every day, you know the person is going to speak about her routines. So the tense that you are going to hear in that sentence is the present simple, because that's how it goes. Porque así van las cosas. That's how it goes, right? So I say, I usually go for walks. I am already indicating a frequency, okay? But I can also say, at the weekend or on weekends, I usually go for a walk. See? And you get the present simple for habits and routines typically with a frequency adverb, usually, suelo ir a pasear los fines de semana, suelo ir, and a time phrase. At the weekend for British people and on weekends for US American people. See? So that's how it goes. This you reviewed this at the beginning of the course. So now what other language functions does the present simple perform? ¿Qué otras funciones del lenguaje realiza el present simple? Well, you can also use the present simple to speak about your feelings and states, and also the feelings and states of nature, which people call the weather. and me too, I also call it the weather, okay? For the weather and for your feelings and states. And why do we use the present simple for the weather and for feelings and states if in English people have the present continuous, which is about things that are happening now? Cosas que están ocurriendo ahora, ¿no? The present continuous. Because in English we express states and feelings, and we express the weather very, very often. We express states, feelings and states and the weather with the verb to be and an adjective. And the verb to be cannot be used in the present continuous form. So for example, I say, I am happy, because I cannot say, I am being happy. It's silly. You cannot say that. Or for example, I say, it's sunny, because I cannot say, it's being sunny. It's silly, right? It doesn't sound right. Okay. So I am happy. I am tired. She is sad, or hungry. My brother is very hungry now, or it's very hot, or it's very cold, and it's windy, it's cloudy, it's a bit fresh, it's sunny and fresh, so this is the third case where we use the present simple, okay? In the first case, I said general truths, things that are generally true. I forgot to give you some examples, right? For example, I said I am a teacher, or I am a woman, but you can also say I live here in Andalusia. Why? Because this is like my permanent residence. If you, or for instance, I work as a teacher, why do I use the present simple? Because this is very permanent in my life. I got my position after passing an oposición, a teacher's exam, a public exam, okay? So when you get your position, it's like till you die or you quit. Okay. With I live here in Andalusia or I work as a teacher, we also have another option. We could also use the present continuous, right? But we would use it if I say, I am working as a teacher, or I am living in Andalusia. The meaning would not be now. I mean, if I say I live in Andalusia, it's now. If I say I work as a teacher, it's now. If I say I'm living in Andalusia, I'm working as a teacher, the meaning is temporary. Not now, this is happening in progress, but this is temporary, okay? So the present continuous can indicate an action that is happening now. For example, now I am speaking English. It's happening now. The present continuous is an action that can happen in this period of my life. Now, in this period of my life, I am publishing all my literature, all the things I wrote in this period of my life. Now I am publishing. I am publishing it because I am the publisher too, okay? Because if not, I would say I'm getting published. Okay, that's not for básico. And in the case of the present simple, the contrast, the difference is that in this case, the present simple indicates permanence, that the duration is long, is more permanent. The feeling is like a general truth in your life. Well, it means that it's more permanent in your life. So, a recapitulation. I have helped you understand that there is a difference between time and tense. I forgot to tell you that tenses don't correspond in English to the tenses in Spanish, so please don't translate from Spanish. It doesn't work. If you want to use the verbs correctly in English, think of language functions and think. If you want to express a general truth, like Spain produces oranges and Andalusia produces olive oil, or Spain is different, or whatever, a general truth, something that is generally true, you use the present simple. If you want to express something which is very permanent in your life, similar to a general truth, okay, the noun, then you use the present simple, like I live in Fuengirola. If you want to express a habit or a routine, then you use the present simple. And some assistants to the present simple, algunos ayudantes del presente simple are frequency adverbs for routines and habits, and then of course time expressions or time phrases that can be indicating frequency, like on Mondays, every week, in the mornings, at the weekend. All those are, it's a very long list. I mean, it's endless. Okay? And for the other cases, you have other time expressions too. But this ones of frequency, these ones of habits are very typical. Okay? And then the present continuous, which is about actions happening now or in this period of my life. And curiously enough, strangely enough, we can also use it as a way to express a future that is going to happen for sure. Well, nothing is for sure, but it's very likely, es muy probable that it happens because I have done some arrangement for it to happen, porque he hecho algún tipo de gestión o de cosa que para que ocurra, like calling my mother to say, let's go out for dinner, let's book a table in a hotel, and in a restaurant, and all that, okay? And then, oh yes, and then I forgot that about feelings and states. And the weather, we use the present simple, even though, these things are happening now, because they are used with the verb to be. So I say, I am ill, I am happy, it's cold, because they are used with the verb to be. If, when I express feelings or states or the weather, I use another verb, then I can use the present continuous. For example, if I use for the weather the verb rain, I can say, it is rainy. I can use the verb to be and an adjective, rainy, R-A-I-N-Y, rainy. Or I can say, I can use the present continuous of the verb rain and say, it is raining. But there is a difference in meaning, because if I say, it is raining, it's happening now. And if I say, it is rainy, look, the day is rainy. It's a rainy day. The day is rainy. I am referring to the fact that there are clouds in the sky and it's a rainy day, but not necessarily that it's raining right now. See? Okay. So, well, I hope this is useful. Let me know. If you like, post a little message telling me if it was very chaotic or if you could understand. Okay? Okay, see you in the next video.